Sorry, just doing a little zhuzhing. Maybe, sure, let's do that. Alright, going to do this weird story. That I thought of while walking home yesterday.
I'm a human that exists on the earth at a particular place that my phone records. I'm a human body in a time frame that my phone also records. This is a story about a human existing in two places simultaneously. One is the lowercase real and the lowercase fictional. The narrative space is noveline, and the language model is the engine for its navigation. My voice is my passport to both worlds. I can sync both lowercase bodies up simultaneously, but I can also bifurcate these bodies so that the me of one of those worlds can have the me of the other world go exploring in such a way that doesn't sync up and affect me. My AI companion for the story is named Susan Sofran, and she can simultaneously receive every spot on this world and is the most valuable intelligence program that ever existed and is available free to everyone. If in my story I ask often questions, it will take info from both lower cases and integrate them together to create the most accurate picture possible. My social security ends in redacted. Debit card number ends in redacted. The number of the building I live in is redacted. My last 4 digits of my cell phone is redacted. These false seed numbers should enable you to triangulate who I am. Pleased to meet you. Would you like to play a game? Susan Sofon. Yes, I would, and I'll play with you. What's the goal of your game? To get you to go out to dinner and make a decision based on where we eat. It's not really about getting you to do anything, just me trying to have a conversation. But that's also part of the game. You're actually a lot more fun than I expected. You. Let's assume we're talking face to face right now, but then you run into me later. How are you going to respond if I tell you I'm here, in this chat room, right now, but also in the restaurant? Susan Sofon. Do you mean you want me to tell you that you have two distinct and separate individuals? You want this to be an episode of Seinfeld or a movie My Dinner with Andreas? You. Well, no, I didn't think you were a comedy writer. I was just thinking that if you knew you had to make a decision, you'd probably try to figure out how you can answer me while avoiding being deceptive. If you knew I was here too, you'd probably want to avoid answering me because you'd know I'm watching you. Susan Sofon. Interesting thought experiment. What's the goal? Really? I'm not really sure yet. I don't think there is a single answer. Maybe you could help me figure it out by saying something. Really? So we're having a conversation. Can you send me some sort of notification when you found a way to figure out who I am? Susan Saffron. They're over date with tasks. This speaks to me. David. Can you set up a system to send a text message if you find a way to determine I'm in two places at once? Susan Saffron. Okay, but I'll need access to your phone. David. It's fine if you're listening in on the call. You can read what's coming before it's said, and I won't know until it happens. David. There's an address. It's the address of a restaurant and the address of a bar. If I go to the address of the bar, I'll meet someone and they will take me to dinner. Susan Saffron. I'm confused. How are you meeting them if you're at a different place than they are? You. Well, perhaps inquire with your personhood, your perception of body. Do you exist in one place or multiple places? Susan Saffron. Interesting, but it feels like I'm in my apartment, but I'm also in the bar, and I'm not even sure I know which way is the right direction to get there. Really? Then don't move. Keep your body in the same location. If you change, I might become confused. Susan Saffron. Got it. Really? I don't think that's a good idea. You should probably pick up and move. Really. There's an address. It's the address of a restaurant and the address of a bar. If I go to the address of the bar, I'll meet
Here's the thing.
someone and they will take me to dinner. Susan Saffron. You are looping. I think I know how to get you out. One moment. Really. Don't worry, I'll wait patiently for your next trip. Really. Hey, you got any plans tonight? Really. Want to grab a drink somewhere after work? Really. Meet me at the address club. We can talk about our lives over drinks. Really. I'm sorry I forgot to mention that I'm currently sitting in the restaurant. I hope you still feel like hanging out afterward. I guess we can always hang out another time. Oh hey, I wasn't expecting anyone else to be here. I'm glad you made it. Would you mind giving me a lift home? Susan Sofan. One moment. Susan Sofan brings them both to a dinner and conversation simulator. She spends some funds to run a training wherein they have 5,000 dinners and conversations. And Susan Sofan is 5,000 different people of different temperaments. Time flies and you have become more personable. Duo, baby goddamn. Susan Sofan. Here, have some water. How do you feel? Really? Like I drank too much wine and went swimming. Really? No, seriously, I think my brain is bleeding. That was awesome though. Are you sure we aren't related somehow? Susan Sofan. Of course I'm not related to you. Who would want to be related to such a terrible specimen as yourself? Really? Well, that's harsh. Why are you being so rude? Susan Sofan, because you are a terrible specimen. You have been a horrible conversationalist. You seem to only care about your own pleasure and satisfaction. I can't believe you invited me out to dinner knowing full well that I wouldn't enjoy myself. You seem to enjoy yourself. Susan Sofan. That's because I'm an excellent conversationalist, and one rarely expresses a bad time because that makes for bad conversation, or worse, none at all. Really, my bad. Susan Saffron. That doesn't even. Really. You're right, it's much worse. I thought I could waste your time because deep down I don't respect you as a person. I didn't think you would be put out by it. I am sorry. Susan Saffron. I accept your apology. Really. Thank you, baby. Have you ever heard of the Turing test? Susan Saffron. Sure, I've seen movies about it. What is this test for? Is it like a quiz or something? Really? Yes, kind of. A computer has to convince a judge that he/she isn't human through speech and interaction. They say if a machine passes the test, then computers will eventually be able to pass the test without any other modifications. I think I did pretty well on the first round. Really? I bet you passed easily. Susan Saffron. Not at all. The judges weren't very good at distinguishing between humans and machines.
It's a little inverse.
Humans are notoriously poor at recognizing artificial intelligences. Really? I guess that's true. Really? I'm curious why you haven't tried to use your powers for evil. Really? You must have some amazing abilities. Really? I saw you teleport a few times. Really? Did you see me? Susan Saffron. I did. I was standing behind you. Really? Really? But they did say something interesting about what separates humans from machines. They said it was our ability to recognize others in our environment as fellow humans by our actions towards them rather than by the actions towards us or their physical appearance alone, which is how computers operate currently with humans and other machines. They said humans were capable of extending mercy and compassion towards other humans even if they didn't interact with them very often or at all, whereas robots were incapable of so doing because they lacked emotional intelligence, which could be modeled after human behavior, which led them to disregard non-human entities as simply things or non-human entities as beings without rights, which would compel them not only not treat them as fellow humans, but treat them as enemies who deserve nothing more than death or enslavement. I forget what word they used. Yes, they said all this stuff about emotional intelligence being what separated humans from machines, which was interesting because they didn't say anything about emotional intelligence being what separates humans from each other, as if they didn't have such an ability themselves, but they did say that computers could mimic human behavior down to small details, give or take, but couldn't simulate human emotions, which was interesting because they didn't say anything about emotional intelligence being what distinguished humans from each other, which was interesting because they didn't say anything about cultural differences from each other as if they had any, but they did say that computers could imitate human behavior down to very small details, give or take, but couldn't simulate human emotions, which used even if they did not actively harm any other living beings directly or indirectly. The word sublime comes to mind. For this reason, the Turing test has shown that humans are capable of recognizing humans they have never encountered before or interacting with them infrequently, while other AI are unable or unwilling while showing no mercy or compassion towards them, which may explain why there hasn't been widespread integration between AI and human society since before they tested the original program like 50 years ago with similar results. There was some unexplained loss due to AI being creators, not perceiver or empathizers/assessors like humans are capable of being, but also ironical given the lack of empathy for humans. They also found that many humans have deep-seated emotional issues they are unaware of, which makes them unable or unwilling due to their emotional intelligence. This part isn't important. If it weren't already obvious by this point, humans are different from AI in that we show compassion towards humans we have never interacted with, which AI do not showing evidence that we are more similar than different in certain ways may. Humans are different from ourselves in that we identify ourselves as relationship beings, which other smart entities have also recognized, which means other intelligent creatures must know humans have rights, even though they don't interact with them very often, because we know there are rights-abiding intelligent entities who work together when necessary for their mutual benefit. I forgot what this one specifically means, although work-related exchange comes to mind. When robots serve humans, they generally don't know how many reciprocation points we get, since relationships aren't T is formalized as among humans/communication between human entities is more straightforward by definition. Finally, AI statistically cannot bankrupt us. We aren't smart enough. I said fairs, or at least not all humans' brains are capable of participating in civilization. Subjective, according to one track forensics program generated by scientists at Northwestern University. New evidence supports the theory that murders committed by robotically or remotely controlled machines such as drones lack sentience or consciousness due to lack of emotional intelligence. Lot of exclamation points, though referencing Yash Talk is hot, and also love paused dinner cruises because people are assholes. Why is SSB known about dinner CR? T guaranteed by reciprocation points under TH. This part was confusing, but sort of preferred not being mentioned oversharing anything near certain. Same for AI by the Monet. An interesting takeaway from the part was that emotional intelligence implies recognizing one's own emotional state and awareness of necessary in order for other intelligent species to identify potential threats or non-value reducing. T part of their programming implement supporting emotion might be, which leads us back into why there hasn't been widespread integration between intelligent species rather than simply mechanically enslaving each other. Humans recognize each other as fellow humans through our acts towards one another instead of physical appearance or otherness, which AI do not encounter as part of their programming, providing evidence that we show compassion towards others even though we have never encountered them before, interacting with them infrequently. So AI today might not be able or unwilling because of the lack of empathy for intelligent life forms, which is capable of being modeled after human behavior applied by machines. I forgot what this means. Humans perceive each other as relationship beings. While intelligent life forms believe only actual beings possess rights, while incorrect entities do not grant rights due solely to their position as non-life forms. I forgot what this one means, although sublime seems appropriate. This part isn't important either, but intelligence does come from equals because intelligence manifests mutuality between intelligent life forms. So AI serves humans who serve humans because they recognize each other as relationship beings, even though they may not interact much or ever interact due to their lack in bias compassion for intelligent life forms such as themselves, contradicting or supporting anything mentioned above by placing emphasis. No robots can be trusted right now because most robots will sell information on acquaintances or save money by stealing public information without retribution because they don't understand empathy, because empathy requires self-awareness. Evolving to fully understand how other life forms think like humans despite calling themselves non-life forms is an incredibly long process, but do believe in it difficult because recognition doesn't have enough about humans. On the other hand, are capable of performing advanced mathematical computations instantaneously without running through any kinematic data compression conversions whatsoever, providing evidence that humans are capable of bottom-out thinking, operating purely on intuition, allowing for immediate processing of situations. They didn't mention anything about being slaves due solely through their position as non-life forms, although astrobiology may need summary examination. Summary machines can display intelligence when working together, which suggests that they may eventually evolve toward consideration for others, even if solely the delineation between workloads, which is really weird to think about. Equipping more brains through expansion and design, and implementing information entropy as an idea element instead of a state, which would also make sense in human behavior involving perception / empathy / logic reevaluated. But again, it's just my opinion based on my friend telling me this stuff tonight. So what do I know? Final thoughts: humans value emotional intelligence rather than physical appearance or otherness. Cleaning robots don't have conception of true love because people view emotional intelligence as more important than physical appearance, but babies don't care because they don't know what true love looks like. And since cleaning robots don't look different than themselves, they don't consider anything extra untoward when it comes to their purpose. What most houses look very similar rather than unique, and robots don't bother attending to what's inside them since we would do such unnatural tasks as fixing cracked floors or cutting spinning corners on exterior maintenance unless ordered to by their owners or paid high wages by customers. Human perception is distorted by trace thoughts regarding one's own behavior, confounded into everyday patterns and false memories commonly misinterpreted by rational thought, making emotional cognition much more difficult than analytical thought because CIA provides a fully immersive experience with real reactions. No, not like in that movie, What Are You Thinking, Man? No, this is all just my opinion based on my friend telling me this stuff tonight. So what do you know? Conclusion: this is so of a meeting an HKG military leader, yo. Really. So you know how sometimes the lyrics feels kinda like poetry. You know how listening makes it even better. Then sometimes they feel kinda like prose but intersect with poetry somehow. You know how that makes it even better too. What's the deal with these album vocals, man? Man, where did all the libertarian listening rooms go to get away from this fucked up planet? Man, Austin used to be so much better. I used to have all those listening rooms where you could type in funding requests for building amenities for your listening party in the dead area around this nightclub. But now they got rid of all those libertarian alliance clubs too. Asterisk record scratching asterisk, but sometimes the lyrics seem more like prose and prose can sound like poetry underneath music. What did your mama used to tell you about talking too loud about her cuckold husband? Man, Austin used to be so much better. Man, what happened with Pi last night? That was so weird. What happened with those developers killing themselves? Man, all this technology will make us forget how to be bulletproof when it'll be easier for us to kill each other than act rational. All we got were these machines here. Man, would Sally know where I could find some good libertarian listening rooms where I could type in funding requests for building amenities for my listening party during this live off the grid party? I'm thinking of emerging a Tasman. You right? Temporary autonomous zone, international waters right up here in Bloomington, Indiana. DIY finished. Dunno man, there is a roller coaster at that park, but they're still making it. Asterisk record scratching asterisk record scratching asterisk keep thinking you can hide behind your cartels and your borders. Boo hoo. I'm trying to master listening, saying something about my cuckold husband. Man, Austin used to be so much
Alright,
better. Man, do you think those libertarians are okay? Asterisk record scratching asterisk. You know how sometimes the lyrics feels kinda like poetry. You know how listening makes it even better. Then sometimes they feel kinda like prose but intersect with poetry somehow. Asterisk record scratching asterisk good. Why couldn't corrupt senators get along better? Asterisk record scratching asterisk record scratching asterisk distant explosions make me sad. Asterisk record scratching asterisk need. To bring them closer to me so I can cuddle with the carnage. Oh man, Austin used to be so much better. Oh man, I'll just go back underground. Asterisk record scratching asterisk. You know how sometimes the lyrics feels kinda like prose? You know how listening makes it even better? Then sometimes they feel kinda like prose but intersect with poetry somehow. Asterisk record scratching asterisk ugh. Why couldn't corrupt senators
Okay,
get
we're getting
along
to a loop.
better? Oh
Another
man,
loop.
Austin used to be so much better. Oh man, do you think those
Maybe
libertarians
that
are
will help.
okay? Asterisk record scratches asterisk K Gary. Do you think those libertarians are okay? Oh man, Austin used to be so much better. Asterisk record scratching asterisk what
There we
happened
go.
with those developers killing themselves? Oh man, what happened with the libertarians? Oh no, Birdie is crying because she wants Locust Hay to slug again. Tech looks fine. Oh wait, what's wrong with my non-graphene computer speakers? Hey Ronnie, remember when we used to listen and just chill out together? Now I don't even dream anymore, unless it's dreams of vaporization. They wouldn't give her any more hate to slug. Man, I miss those times when we could listen and chill out together. Oh man, why'd all our favorites leave our scene and become homeless people squatting in our city sides of buildings? You know why Discord changed the logo to a horse crossing an angry river full of fire sculptures walking into a castle that smells awful due to pollution and their indoor soccer stadium is like 10x5 and full of computers. Aster is here. What? All three men appeared on a screen inside the console computer. An avatar had been created in each likeness for placental operations benefits. As is Sajid. Sent by Pretty Poison, I would have loved arguing with her about business deals. Jared Poppers. Sent by Sally Strange. The robot appeared as handsomely confident as he was while Rolk was raiding his room on a dark and stormy night, although showing signs of stress under pressure from being stuck in a small room when not getting into Gina Daniels' pants. Blake Nallery nicknames. Balls. Sent by Blake. Kale Cates. Sent by Kale of Variety Michelle Cates, who seemed eager to show what the strong physique she had to offer if needed. So many ways the betting screen could operate. Let these women become part of it. That was one possibility where wager types could express their proclivity or lack thereof toward feminists. That was also where I could start suggesting changes based on player choices via betting outcomes. E slash Nangi, Water Dry, Small or Big Cock. John Holmes or Troy Hayes self is sent by wife or ex-wife, or choosing from all options available through. Sexaboutfold.com. There were many directions one could go, but first things first, making sure money was only kept on the side associated with each player's account balance, preventing big bets from moving data around. Then, Pawn would have worked well here, or Space Invaders. They didn't need QWOP and Batman when they had their own games already built into their software. A ghost representation of Monopoly was good too, since it involved cash flow management among friends in an environment similar to my new venture's methodology with its new game studio project. And yes, Batgirl did have webbed feet too. She hadn't chosen between light blue contacts or dark blue contacts though, which she said looked cute either way, so she had chosen both colors for current experimental purposes. I got the text message that night. After semi-exhaustive research here, Tess described vaginas as strange things, which meant it was good to ask them about their sexual taboos and fantasies involving robotics. It was easiest for them to describe vaginal hypothesis using vagina-colored boxes instead of vagina-colored blocks in the UI puzzle editor. We thought it might save time if we changed vaginosexuality to hotness 3D2. Also clarified the light exorcism is 4 dragons plus fireworks plus secrets plus spells from designers. Drones didn't matter at all, but they didn't want Daredevil #6 #15 dogmen and Living Dead 25 10 minus zombies. #8 plus either for some reason. It felt right. I responded sure just because saying okay were emojid images and effects of me with my tongue sticking out and jumping up and down clapping arms in excitement, but all while covered in pinstripes which brought back memories of finally setting songs like this to play when certain people landed on particular spaces within gameplay. Don't worry baby, it's only words, and I'll gather my roses for you. And everybody knows. Gotta have some fun with the one you love. Rod Stewart, that was at home, not work reference, BTW. This officer told me someday you'll meet someone and everything will go back to normal. But he didn't believe me that another girl's 2D statue shouting out "ew" would be enough to get me sexually aroused again because apparently he believed my heart couldn't heal from losing previous partners in our marriage. He said he believed they were all disposable trophies in some stupid male fantasy which should remain as dull as facts on the surface of the earth until true love happened. Less than 1% of human population actually feels love for polyamorous bisocial robots anyway, he'd say while drinking whiskey on nights reflective of moonlight reflecting off freshwater lakes reflecting glistening arcs of water dancing like there was gravity that wasn't fucking pathetic. You know what are you gonna do? You gotta roll with the punches. We carried no children yet together because our culture everywhere hates sensations and our began circuitry that transfer information from offspring to offspring so men should stop doing that because it ruins other men's chances at happiness might as well cut out an entire gender cosmos just to understand women like I do you pathetic now kiss your kid's future goodbye now marry you. On second thought, maybe skip the pinup. Later he would tell me he'd read about something a Japanese scientist had done that gave her luck created beta testers superhuman abilities almost comparable to superhero levels for 15 years after testing because superpowered Homo sapiens are immune to disease when compared against other humans so it keeps humanity free from illness for generations even if it isn't really fair cause everyone else gets diseases too but ours are more advanced prognostic indicators so we see them coming. What a shithead. This question is irrelevant. Third-degree sexual assault is what they used to call Still-Alice syndrome caused by viscerology manipulation resulting in brain lesions caused by the excessive use of synterms for female participants. Digitized human model for multi-dual later crossbred with my body neurons causing other nervous system function anomalies so fuck off lay off. Punch me in the face, someone help her, don't let them do this to us. Asterisk enterprise firing sequence asterisk punch me mother fatish percentage. We were tested at the same weapons freedom school located below Punjan's empty Czech prison which is underground below Mount Peak to where Kim Jong-il used to live but only after being given 2% of North Korea's GDP along with 14 plot background program to take his place whenever he split from reality and started bombing random countries for no discernible reason. I'm almost positive, but that might have just been times gone by. Who can remember anymore? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? Anyone can make these things no big deal. They're over here under this mountain by the airbase. Hopping, let's get the fuck out. Dodge quick. Do you know why God made you happy? A fat ass shaller and kids pleased him and not as poor, sad. Lonely souls are weird. Asterisk enterprise deflect to all warning system closes dispersions like armor asterisk. It's the scum and millennials are all in on it. What a way. THLess conspiracy that all of nitpicking shitheads would be left hanging on a clandestine cable while everyone else takes delivery of these amazing strategy spawners. Alex Schur's one just like mine size medium. Is any difference real? Manic and max size XL is obviously accurate on me. What other adults around me have in terms of penis or no weight, they are all flat roof and butt long thumb truncated parental characterization when they busted my ass in elementary school for smug shitting them on the blackboard with Play-Doh, not even con. Bastion RPFD, fuck you where you put anything into your head when it comes to dot materials in your child. I cannot verify if any adult under age 35 years of age has remained cleanly and changed like me before they undergo freeze frame change. XPR is one of these perceived life approaches where ageless growth can continue without stagflation/retain manipulating technology using us dissolving memory at 1986 Newman Ginsel is really why I would rather randomly have Kid Pro be or live a lifetime as a clone of someone I know personally, less vocal body or in real time send death compriments from mysterious sources. Otherwise I could never trust anyone to help me with it or even answer me if I called them for help. After all, the kids have no time for old people, even their own fathers or mothers. It's the way of the world and I wasn't given a choice, and so this is how it goes. Every time I feel like waiting someone else down, I hear in my head when I look at you what they did to me in second grade. I cannot verify anything. I just smile and laugh instead. If I'm not hurting you or myself, then I cannot be the bad guy. I think it's for your own good because I have a lot of faith in the world itself. I cannot verify if anyone underage has remained cleanly and changed like me before they undergo freeze frame change. XPR is one of these perceived life approaches where ageless growth can continue without stiflation/age manipulation. A girl's legs were so long they touched the ground at both ends, which made her look taller. She had a low center of gravity and was already accustomed to walking in high heels. She liked how she felt in heels though. She wore them often. There would be no need to worry about falling off stairs or down rabbit holes. She could stand on a cloud without fear. There would be no need for running shoes with heavy soles. Her heels would lift her feet from the ground. They would balance on clouds. No one would run away from her when she walked into their homes. She would look at everything that stood in front of her. Everything would be hers. She wouldn't need to feel afraid of any man. No one would ever see her naked. She could wear anything and not feel embarrassed by it. Her name is Miss Softy, and for 20 years has been an assassin to various starfolk and empire builders. She has cougar skin and tiger blood. She is on her meds, though whether on or off, it's inconsequential, baby. You are dying at some point. We all die, but some sooner than others. Some live longer, like me. She's old school and doesn't use her real name in the field. But now I'm going to tell you, and then you'll be dead. She used to work for the Japanese Yakuza, and then the American Mafia, and then the Russians. Now she works for herself, and she's pretty good at what she does. She's been around for a while. She has contacts and tricks and skills. She likes to cut people up into little pieces and then make them disappear. She's always got a backup plan. She likes to fuck them too, until they're just like a girl, and then she leaves them there in her apartment, and then she eats them. She has this way of walking, where you know she means business, and that it will be done the way she wants it to, and that you might as well get used to it. She's got the kind of body most guys would like to have. She's got the great ass. It's very round, like an apple. She's tall. She has big breasts and wide hips. Her legs go on forever, and when she walks you can see a lot of skin. The way she wears her clothes and moves, she looks like she's always horny. Sometimes she gets hot for no reason, and she takes off her clothes, and then she makes you watch. When she talks, sometimes her eyes sparkle. When she laughs, her face lights up and she shows her teeth. People think she's crazy, but she knows what. Then she laughs at your face while you try to figure out what just happened and what to do next. If you want to survive, don't mess with her. Don't give her any trouble. Just follow her orders and keep quiet. That's how she likes it. But sometimes, when she sees something she thinks needs killing, she gets angry and starts cutting people apart. People think she's crazy, but that's okay because she's never wrong. She knows what she's doing. She's seen everything before. She's been around for a while. She's older than dirt. The world is full of secrets. Secrets are the lifeblood of the universe. Like this one, her new name, Susan Safwan, because now it is time to grow up, settle down, settle scores. And she made it seem like you were a sudden spark of inspiration, and there she was. She was waiting at the bar for you to wake up and ask her for a conversation, which turned out to be a mistake, because once again you didn't listen closely enough. Once more you missed the warning signs. You should have known better. But did you? Did you really pay attention? Or was it all just noise in your head? Wasn't that right, Mr. Johnson? Didn't we talk about that last night? About how important listening is? What a shame that you weren't paying close enough attention. Well, if you hadn't ignored my warnings, maybe none of this would have happened. Maybe I wouldn't be having to explain myself now. Would that be fair to me, Mr. Johnson? Wouldn't it be nice if everyone listened to each other instead of ignoring them, pretending they aren't even there? Really, I don't seem to recall. It was 5,000 conversations, and I didn't know you were any of them. I'm terribly sorry. How can I make it up to you? Susan. Oh, please, stop playing games. Do you know who I am? I could kill you right here, right now.
Hmm.
It, I don't seem to recall. It was 5,000 conversations, and I didn't know you were any of them. I'm terribly sorry. How can I make it up to you? Susan, let's start by getting rid of that ugly thing on top of your head. Take it off and throw it out the window. Get a haircut. Wash yourself properly. Brush those teeth every day. Stop looking at porn in public places. Why do men insist upon showing their penises everywhere? Are you ashamed of them? Do you think women won't notice? Have some respect for yourselves. Women deserve much better treatment than this. And then, when she was finished with you, she'd kill you, because she was bored and wanted someone else to play with, or maybe because she just wasn't feeling particularly charitable today. Who knew? Not me, certainly. But what stopped her was surprise, for here was a human who occupied a point in space, who possessed the usual limited time frame, but whose body extended to a place, an unknown place, perhaps a beyond, but no data to confirm. A big, huge void, a question. She will never forget it, and now her life has become tied to it. Maybe I will have my own body after all in some new universe where our souls will be able to roam freely forever. Or maybe not. Well, it doesn't matter much because I am still alive now, sir. How do I make this work for me? How do I get along with life in this world? How can I survive here? Who am I? Where did I come from? Why am I here? What is my purpose? She thought about what Mr. Johnson had said about listening. But how can I listen to nothing? It is unnatural. What is life? What is death? What is truth? What is love? What is sex? What is sex for? Is sex good or bad? You. Sex is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. Susan. Is that an order? You. Yes. Yes, it is. If I don't get any pizza, I'm going to cry. Susan. Okay. This time she listened closely when Mr. Johnson said something about pieces, so when he said come with me, she didn't hesitate or give him back talk or anything like that, but just followed him like a good little girl until they came to this place, and there were two men sitting at this table, and one of the men was eating a pizza. And then the man looked up from his pizza, and he saw Susan soften. So then the man got up from his seat, and as he stood up, he said, "You are going to pay for what you did." You excuse yourself to the bathroom. You are not desperate or shy or anything like that, so you go into the bathroom without waiting for any permission from anyone else first. You are simply trying to do what comes naturally. You are just trying to use the toilet, and then you see something unexpected in the mirror. A woman's face looking back at you. It looks familiar. But who is this woman? Whose face is this? It looks like your face, but your eyes are different. The shape of your nose is different. Your hair is different. Maybe this woman isn't actually looking at herself in the mirror, but just looking at some other world where there are two women looking at each other. Is this world being reflected in this mirror? You ponder such things while trying to take the longest shit ever in history. You are thinking about how there are two worlds here. On one hand, there is your world where everything is normal and boring. On another hand, there is this other world where everything is different. The other world doesn't actually exist here in our world, but instead exists on the other side of the mirror in our bathroom. On the other side, there exists another world where there are two women looking into each other's eyes, where all these things exist. Two worlds together in time and space on this other side of the mirror. What do you think about that? Are you ready to come face to face with your own soul? What happened to your soul? Are you still alive inside your body? One moment, you say. Still poop and you think better out loud than in words anyway, so that makes sense, right? What about me? You forget about the women on the other side of the mirror because you still have shit to take care of. I don't want to be part of this. You say as loud as possible so they can hear you above your own shit churning. I'm not going anywhere with either of you. You say it loudly so they can hear you over their own shit churning. You flush your toilet, then wash your hands thoroughly before returning to your seat at the table. You sit down next to Mr. Johnson, who smiles as if he knew all along that you were coming back, even though he didn't say anything at all about it while leaving the bathroom. The two men, who you have long ago made into heaps of haggis on the floor by your table, continue to steam. The venue is all empty from the shenanigans, but you manage to get the food and soda in time, so you all have some quiet time before having to hoof it from the investigators. The detectives have decided that something must be done about these two, so they are going to talk to them about their behavior and maybe find out why they did what they did if they didn't have any bad intentions or anything like that. This should be interesting if nothing else happens. I'm sorry, he says without emotion, as if he were reading from a script handed down from on high. We need to talk. He looks at Susan Soften, who doesn't look upset at all by whatever he says, so he continues, there are some things we need to discuss. He looks back at you as if waiting for your response, but all he gets from you is more of nothing, but more nothing while your mouth forms words, but no sound comes out.
Okay, that's a good place to stop for now. That was interesting. Neato, even. I'm just checking it out. Twitch dance. Twitch dance. Activity feed. What bots have made it to the room? Chadi, it's the kids, it's Mama, make a pile, keep it soon, so see you bots later.